here with you again for Shabbat, joining each other in community. And we are being joined, we are actually two communities, two incredible communities joining together this Shabbat. And what a joy it is to be praying with both of our wonderful communities who take such pride in our tradition and such joy in Shabbat, as well as such good care of each other. So how wonderful to be together this Shabbat.
Hello, everyone. So we are joined tonight by Temple Shalom of Southwestern Michigan, Benton Harbor, St. Joe, Stevensville, and the surrounding areas. And we're just so happy to have you here. And I'm so happy to be here myself. And let's begin with the words, Hine ma tov, how good it is to be together. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. So beautiful to see the light coming in all of your Zoomicals and on those beautiful slides that Dan Lieber puts together for us. And on this first Shabbat of the month of Cheshvan, if you have your Shabbat candles ready, please bring them on out. Sandy Jo will light on behalf of all of us tonight. And let's increase the light of this new month. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Ashir Kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlek ner shel Shabbat. Taking that deep Shabbos breath with you all tonight.
It was, for many of the people I spoke with this week, a long week. I had a lot of nods there. It was a complicated week. It was a difficult week. I heard from parents who said, my kids are in school, but it still feels like we're in the pandemic. Heard from people who said, I'm fully vaccinated. I just don't feel safe still. I heard from people who live with chronic conditions. They're worried about what this year ahead this winter ahead is going to be. I heard of the exhaustion of all of those in-person workers who just told me that they're tired. Over and over again, they're tired. And then I got some calls from people who said, this week's okay. I mean, I admit, not many people call their rabbi when the week's going really well. So my sample might be biased, right? Because when's the last time you all called me just to say, I'm having a great week? I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to send that email, by the way, or call or text. But despite my sample probably being biased, what I heard was the truth from a lot of people, which is that at this stage in this pandemic, it's hard to know where you are. It feels you're constantly in a cycle, and like the firm ground underneath you that sort of used to let you look backwards and forwards, like that ground has been washed away. Like we're not standing on it anymore in quite the same way. And so, of course, I did what rabbis do, and I turned to this week's Parsha to see what it might help us think about our time in this period of this pandemic. And of course, it is Parshat Noah. It is the flood story that we turn to this week. And it is admittedly one of our most famous stories because 2 by 2 we march cute little fuzzy animals into an ark, and sometimes we bring your pets over for blessings and do all sorts of fun things like this when we get to this parsha. But the truth of the matter is it's a pretty dark story. I think maybe that's why we make such good children's songs out of it. I mean, just 6 chapters before in the book of Genesis, God is busy creating, and everything that God creates, God says, this is good. This is good. It's as if there's just this abundance of goodness, this overflowing pattern of goodness, so much so that when the first cycle is created, God says, this is very, very good. And 6 chapters later, I mean, it's not that many verses, 6 short chapters later, the whole system has become so degraded with lacking such decency, lacking such kindness, that the creation actually fails. It goes in the opposite direction. We are no longer in the creative good stage of the relationship, but we're undoing the creation. And it's actually a kind of a perfect mirroring of it, because the original creation says that there was wind sweeping over water and it's all sort of chaotic. And if you think of the story of what a 40-day flood is gonna be like, it's just wind sweeping over water and it's chaos. So we've now returned to that primordial state. We're back where we started just 6 chapters later. And it is God's role in this that I wanted to highlight for us this week. But it's not God's role that often stands out to people as God who destroys, right? God who looks at this world and says, I can't tolerate this anymore. But it's something else that is persistent to the character the writers of the Bible call God that I want to highlight for us this week. Rabbi Avi Strasberg wrote a Devar Torah on behalf of True that brought this characteristic to my attention. In her Devar Torah, Rabbi Strasberg points out that according to Genesis Rabbah, this is actually not the first creation. That Genesis Rabbah says that God has been going around over and over again, envisioning worlds, creating worlds, getting frustrated by worlds, and destroying worlds. That God, you can imagine, is like my children with their Lego sets, right? Just back at it every morning, sort of thinking, well, what can I do here? And how is this system going to work out differently than the last time? And finally, God arrives to our world and says, this world pleases me. And according to the rabbis, that's why this world survives. So that's why we have a Bible generations later. That's why we tell these stories, because there was something about this world that pleased God so much that even though God fell into God's pattern of create and destroy, God didn't actually fully destroy. God stopped short of full destruction and returned to that creative process earlier, right? That there had to be something that God tells Noah, build the ark, put the animals on. Noah's wife grabs the seeds, right? It's not the full destruction that has marked the prior cycles. It's a new beginning. So what I want to point out to you about this is that God chooses over and over again to look at scenes of chaos and to create, to look at the undoneness of the world, to step on the pile of Legos that I step on every morning, and I'm never wearing my slippers. I don't know why I don't learn just to put my slippers on earlier in the morning. And to say, it really hurts, by the way. I'm sure if any of you have stepped on a Lego, you remember this moment. And to say, out of all of this, out of the overwhelm, out of the chaos, I can do something. I can do something, and it could turn out differently this time. I was discussing this with my mother, who was pretty sure that God came off pretty badly in this story and was, kind of going, so God keeps destroying? Like, what is that really all about? And my mom has a point. She's not wrong. But I think it's that persistence in creation that is calling me this week. Because the truth of the matter is, God, as written about in the Bible, is a character, right? And a mirror for us, a mirror into the ancient world and what they understood to be sacred, and a mirror offered to ourselves about who we might be in relationship to these eternal ideas of what it means to live lives that are sacred. And most of us at this point know the chaos. We know the looking around and the thinking, well, how did we get here? And I'm not even sure what my role in this is. And so it interests me that over and over again, we are inspired, encouraged, or offered the opportunity to look at the chaos and rebuild despite the reality of destruction. I love that the Bible doesn't pretend it's easy. It doesn't say from the goodness of creation, we go to an even better creation. Won't that be great? Yeah, that would be great. It's just not the world most of us experience. But we are offered the opportunity day in and day out to see the chaos, to name the chaos, and to choose to make meaning by moving that chaos towards creation, one step at a time, one act at a time, one choice at a time. Many of you know, if you joined us for Rosh Hashanah, that I was gifted the book Burnout this year by Amy. And this book talks about one of the things that you need to have access to in order to not burn out is the ability to make meaning of the work. That it is very helpful not to disown the work, not to pretend it's not work, but to instead find some sense of meaning in it. And I want to pray for all of us today as we find ourselves in these uncertain cycles of creation and destruction, where the path ahead and the path behind sometimes get confusingly similar to each other. And the wind's sweeping and the water is overwhelming. I want to offer us a prayer to notice that with each action and each choice, we are invited to participate in something that is deeply sacred, deeply holy, that we are invited to be creators in each day and each week. As we turn to these songs of Shabbat, these songs of renewal and rest, these songs that invite us to be part of this cycle, I pray that we find in the return a new song, a song of hope, a song of creation, a song that enables us to begin again. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Yasher Koach. Shabbat Shalom to you. And let us sing out, finding that new song, that new melody. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Kaddish, Shiru Ladonai, Kol haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basaru miyom liyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir. That's how we should be singing out. Shiru Ladonai, Kol haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basaru miyom liyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basaru miyom liyom Yeshuato, Basaru miyom liyom Yeshuato. Dan Lieber, thank you so much for those slides. And we turn to the words of Lecha Dodi. Come, friends, let us greet this Shabbat together. With our tiredness, with our hopefulness, with our aspirations, with our love, let's turn to this Shabbat and refuel, resoul ourselves. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala yalla yalla pinei Shabbat nekavela Lecha Dodi lekrat kala yalla pinei Shabbat nekavela oh shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmi'anu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo l'tiferet v'litila Lecha Dodi lekrat kala yalla pinei Shabbat nekabelai Lecha Dodi lekrat kala yalla pinei Shabbat nekabela oh likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcham ki mikor habaracha merosh mikedem nisucham sof ma'aseh v'machshav akhila Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala Yalala Yalala Yalla Pene Shabbat Nekavela Yala Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala Yalala Yalala Yalla Pene Shabbat Nekavela Oh Hitoreri Kiva Orech Pumi Uri Shir Daveri Kevod Adonai Alai Nigla Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala Yalala Yalala Yalla Pene Shabbat Nekavela Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala Yalala Yalala Yalla Pene Shabbat Nekavela. And standing to face Shabbat, to welcome in Shabbat, standing in you as you choose in body or in spirit. Bo'i v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'v'tzohala toch emunei am segula bo'i kala Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala Yalala Yalala Yalla Pene Shabbat Nekavela Yala Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala Yalala Yalala Yalla Pene Shabbat Nekavela. Turn to the words of the Chatzi Kaddish. If you would like to remain standing, please do. We know we are all rising in spirit. Yitkada ve'yitkada shemei Rabba ba'alma divarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'gala uv'izman kariv ve'imeru Amen Yeheshmei Rabba mevarach la'alam ul'almei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush v'chata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma Ve'imeru Amen. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of being with a friend or being with somebody who just happens to ask you the right question at the right time, and it's like the world opens up in your heart. It's a little bit how I feel about this setting of Baruch Hu. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? And as we do this work of opening our hearts every Shabbat, see if there's a question you need to hear right now that allows you more breath, allows you more spaciousness, more peace. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai. Bahar Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed Le'olam Va'ed Yadadai 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 And in this transition between the Baruch Hu and into the Shema, a blessing for the evenings. Blessed is the source of life, the essence of creation, whose nature it is to spin day into dusk. With wisdom, the gates of dawn are opened. With understanding, the times and seasons come and go. Morning dawns, evening darkens. Darkness and light, yielding one to the other, yet each distinguished and unique. We give thanks for the passages of time. Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim. We give thanks for life's gentle spirit, for the gentleness that we do find in life, that gentleness that fills the universe. Listening in for what we need to hear tonight, remembering that we are part of the web of creation, part of the one. We give thanks for each unique and sacred life. Ve'ahavarcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. And we continue with these acts of love, these intentional actions that we take to bring about this oneness. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadivarim ha'ele Asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha Ve'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. And we turn to the words of Chamocha, the song of Moses and Miriam at the sea, recognizing the tight places and hoping for that emergence into a larger, more spacious place. Who is like you? Kodesh, Nora Tehilot, Oseh Fele, Nora Tehilot, Oseh Fele. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you? Kodesh, Nora Tehilot, Oseh Fele, Nora Tehilot, Oseh Fele. Our last blessing before we turn to the Amidah, still in the umbrella of the Shema, a prayer for peace, a prayer for safety, for protection. May all who live in fear tonight find their way to safety. May we all be sheltered by a sukkah of peace. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Ushmor seiteinu uvoeinu lechayim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. We turn to the words of our Amidah, having some of our own time for prayer and reflection, for looking at the beautiful slides that Dan provides for us, looking for that inspiration, that strength to move forward. And tonight we'll just sing those first 6 words together. May our mouths, may our hearts, may our minds be open in the way they need to find that way forward. Adonai sifatai tiftach. And then let's take our own time, making it through the 3 brachot of the Amidah, and time for personal reflection. Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Please let the words of this psalm, the melody of this psalm accompany your prayers. Psalm 59. I will sing your strength. Sing each morning your loving kindness. You have been my haven, my refuge in my time of trouble. To you I will sing my strength. Va'ani Ashir Uzecha Va'aranen laboker chasdecha Ki hayita miskavli umanos beom sarli Va'ani Ashir Uzecha Va'aranen laboker chasdecha Ki hayita miskavli umanos beom sali Uzi elecha azamera Uzi elecha azamera ואני אשיר Uzecha וארנן לבוקר חסדך כי היית משגב לי ומנוס ביום צר לי Ashir Uzecha וארנן לבוקר חסדך כי היית משגב לי ומנוס ביום צר לי. Turn to our Shebeirach, our prayer for healing. And we ask if you are on Facebook or here in the Zoom room to use the chat to put in names of people you're thinking about tonight who are in need of healing. And it is, of course, you are welcome to put your own name in. And as a community tonight, we are praying for the returned health of Francis Mills, for Marty Wisnant, for Denise Pappas, for Joyce and David Adamson and the Primmerman family, for David Hale, Tom Alexander, for Al Levin, for Joyce Catania, for Susan Zimmerman-Inney, Arlene Norris, Paul Coulard, for Jeff Wisnia and Jonathan Charon, Paula Goldstein, Deb Midman, for Neil Daniels Midman, Susan Trendall, Alice Klein, for Pat Lazar and Amanda Hill, Carrie Labine, Harriet Levy, Ann Pillow, Judy Donaldson, Colleen Berry, Michael Slonim, for Alan and Joanne Travis, for Fiona Sutton, Ayana Masla, for Nelson Lovins, for Norman and Fran Waxler and Sue Boardman, Angela Panzone, Linda and Fred Lukasik, for Nancy Alpert and Ed Snow, Debbie Gilman, Patty Shepard, Jennifer Chase, Ellen Lee, Jeff Bray, Vicki Oman, Ken Blumberg, for Jimmy Krasnow, for Ayelet Bat-Chava Vaher Shmuel, for Claude Lieber, for Nancy Lazaro Lieber, for Kathy Nath, and for Mason Lee. And for all of us whose hearts may be hurting tonight in any way, let's send this out, this Shebeirach prayer, to all who are in need of healing. Shebeirach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Hu Yivarech, V'Yirapeh et hacholim. Elna, Rifana, Elna, Rifana. Shebeirach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak healing energy flow to wherever it is needed tonight. I was reminded of a story this week about two waves. There were two waves who were hanging out together in the sea. There was a big wave. One of them was a big wave, and one of them was a little wave. The big wave was anxious and scared. And the little wave says to the big wave, "So why are you so afraid?" And the big wave says, "If you could see what I see, you'd be afraid too. Up ahead of us, there are some cliffs, and I can see where we're going. Every wave in front of us goes up to those cliffs, smashes into them, and disappears." And the little wave smiles. I love thinking about a little wave smiling. A little wave smiles and says, "Well, if you could see what I see, you wouldn't be afraid." And the big wave asks, "What's that? What do you see?" And the little wave says, "We're not waves, we're water. We're not waves, we're water." The essence of who we are is greater than our stormy weather, greater than the rising and the falling of any wave or tide or any life. We aren't just our high points and our low points, our crests and our lows. And even when an individual wave shatters on the shore, its water nature remains. Even when an individual life feels shattered or comes to its end, what is eternal flows. It still flows. So I'm thinking in this time when we could all use a little extra strength of a song about water that we used to sing at our healing services on Yom Kippur afternoon. Water moving forward finds a way, finds a way. Water moving forward finds a way, finds a way. Water moving forward finds a way, finds a way. Water moving forward finds a way, finds a way. It finds a way. So be like water moving forward. Find a way, find a way. So be like water moving forward. Find a way, find a way. Be like water moving forward. Find a way, find a way, find a way. We are water moving forward. We find a way, we find a way. We are water moving forward. We find a way, we find a way. We are water moving forward. We find a way, we find a way, we find a way. And Dan Lever, I don't know how you find this way to make every song, every prayer more beautiful and more meaningful with your slides, with your photos. Thank you so much. That was just so moving to see what you did. And may we all find a way to move forward in the ways we need to. So, nearing the end of our service already. And I'm just remembering now that, of course, next week at Shir Tikvah will be our first hybrid service, the first time that we'll have some people in the synagogue, in the sanctuary with Rabbi Cari and me, and some people will still be on Zoom and YouTube and Facebook. And the intention behind all of this is that we're going to find a way to keep us all together as a community. In Temple B'nai Shalom, you're of course welcome to join us as well in any way that you'd like. even when we're in different places. We'll all be in different places. And it's a new chapter in our synagogue's life. So we're going to begin on Friday night with just 30 people, and we hope to increase that with each week that goes by. And we'll still sometimes have just Zoom services as well. So let us begin to end this service with our Aleinu for tonight. And our Aleinu for tonight is Hareini Mikabel. I take upon myself, Aleinu, to love my fellow human as I love myself. And may that be so. May we see that reflected in the world around us as everyone is a little bit stretched. May we continue to hold that in our hearts. Hareini mekabelet alai et mitzvat haborei ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha reacha kamocha. Hareini mekabelet alai et mitzvat haborei ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha reacha kamocha. Hareini mekabel alai et mitzvat haborei ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha reacha kamocha. We turn to Mourners Kaddish, remembering those who we feel so closely in our hearts, whose yortzites are tonight, or who we just might want to give a remembrance to. So please use the chat function wherever you are, or just hold your loved ones so close to you. And tonight we are remembering Edward M. Yampolsky, Morris Brostoff, Elsie Dakin Bloomfield, my aunt Marlene Tilkin. In this time of Shloshim at Shir Tikvah, we are remembering Aviva Goldenberg, Karen's beloved mother. We're remembering Jerry Mills, Christine Mills' beloved father. And tonight's yortzites include Mimi Rubin, Julie Goldberg's beloved mother, and Joel Quinto, Todd Quinto's beloved father of blessed memory. And in this year, we are remembering Jack Langerman, Gladys Schuker, and Roberta Lipperman. Let us join our voices together in the words of Mourners Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv, v'imru amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mevarach, la'alam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, Ruth Kramer, who is the president of Temple B'nai Shalom. I'm wondering if you have any announcements you'd like to give tonight?
Yes, thank you. Just a couple. We're celebrating the harvest for farm workers. We're still collecting through this weekend. And there'll be a celebration on Sunday at the Tabor Hill Vineyards, the special event tent use the private entrance. Rabbi Harvey Spivak will be leading services October 15th and 16th. The Jewish Federation in South Bend is inviting us to join their Community Fall Festival, which is going to be really different this year. It's October 24th at 4 p.m. on the Federation grounds. They're going to have a great big fall festival. It's not like their usual kickoff this time of year. There's a lunch and learn on October 27th at 12 noon for cybersecurity. All of you can do the lunch and learn. It's on Zoom. There's been a scam that targeted Jewish federations that had something to do with gift cards for $500. And it turns out it was being used for anti-Semitic ambitions. So they have an expert on to talk about it. And there's a film night October 31st at 6 p.m. outdoor screening at the Federation. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruth. So onward we go, and may you all have the most peaceful, loving, joy-filled, rest-filled Shabbat. And let us conclude this service with the singing of Adon Olam. And tonight, because we all need a little dance, we all need a little joy, let's sing it to the tune of Rock Around the Clock. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'ein Nasa V'chevso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Ve'acharei Kiklot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Ve'hu Haya Ve'hu Hoveh Ve'hu Yiyeh B'tifara Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra V'hu Eli Havien Sheni Lahamshir Lo Lehachvira V'li Reshit V'li Tachlit V'lo Ha'oz V'ha'misra Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra V'hu Eli V'chai Go Ali V'tzor Hevli V'eit Sarah V'hu Nisi Umanos Li Menakosi V'yom Ekra Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra V'yado Afkid Ruchi V'eit Ishan V'a'ira V'im Ruchi Gaviati Adonai Li V'lo Ira Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Shabbat Shalom.